Hi, Michael Bettine here, and today we're going to answer the question, what's in the box? But not just one box, I'll have two very special boxes to talk about. But let's look at the first one. As many of you probably know, I am a major collector of percussion instruments, especially metal instruments, gongs and bells and chimes and bowls and things like that. Now, one thing I really like to collect are percussion instruments from UFIP in Italy. If you're not familiar with them, they are one of the best metal percussion makers out there. They have been making instruments for hundreds of years, going back to the original families were organ makers, making organ pipes and things like that. And then sometime in the last century, a bunch of the families, which they're all family businesses, got together and created UFIP, which is an acronym, UFIP, which basically stands for the Union of Italian Cymbal Makers. So it's a collective group, but over the years, some of the other families have dropped off, and now it's just the Tronchi family who keeps making the instruments. As I said, they have a long history, and it goes back to making specific instruments for many different composers and percussionists over the years. If you are familiar with the operas Turandot or Madame Butterfly by Puccini, they feature a lot of Oriental percussion, especially tuned gongs. He was inspired by seeing the gamelan at the Great Paris Fair back in the late 1800s, and he wanted to recreate the sound of gongs he had heard. He commissioned UFIP before it was UFIP, but he commissioned them to make some specific gongs for those operas. And as I said, other percussionists have had specific things made. One of those is the great Italian-American percussionist Andrea Gentazzo. Back in the mid to late 1970s, he was living close to UFIP's factory in Pistoia, Italy, and he became one of their chief endorsers, as well as helped design a full range of percussion items called Ictus 75. And these included lots of different bell plates, the Ogororo, the Sheng, and the Lacole, different sized bell plates. Also included various gongs, various things like the ice bell, the ubiquitous heavy bell cymbal that you see everywhere now, made by many companies, but Andrea invented that, and various other things included in that series. Bell trees, Burma bells, especially little cymbals, all these fantastic percussion items. And back in the mid-70s, when I was playing percussive rock, I wanted to acquire a whole range of the Ictus 75 percussion instruments to add to my setup. Unfortunately, there were two things in the way. One was the availability of those products here in America. They were hard to find. And the other was, you guessed it, money. As a poor rock musician, I didn't have the money to go out and buy all these wonderfully amazing instruments. I did locate some in some shops. I played them, and it was like, yeah, okay, that's a lot of money. And back then, it was a lot of money. So over the years, as I've been able to, I have collected the instruments I always wanted. And I have a very decent collection now. I do have many of the things that I've always wanted. So here today is an extremely special thing I was able to find. I was on vacation. I had not been on eBay probably for hardly, like 2 or 3 months because I've been very busy with my book, The Way of the Gong, getting that out and shipping it and getting it to the public. I was busy doing workshops, like over in Portugal. I was busy doing all sorts of gong sessions. So I was very busy, and I just really hadn't been on eBay. So here I am on vacation, just sitting there late at night. My wife went to bed. I'm up late on my computer, and it's like, let's look at eBay. So I go on eBay and I start scrolling through there. I spy this here with a buy it now that is insanely cheap. Obviously, these people don't know what they are and what's in the box. I mean, most people don't want them anyway, but I do. I have a list. I have a list of desired items that I'm always looking for, and this was at the top of my list. And the next item that we'll talk about in the second half of this video was probably about second or third on my list. And it was the same thing. Within probably 3 hours, I found these two items at very ridiculous prices with a buy it now, and I hit that button as quickly as I could. There were a couple watchers on both of them, but it's like, nope, I'm taking these. These are exactly what I've been looking for. So very lucky. If you're a collector, you know how it is. You just run into stuff, and there it is. So again, I hadn't been on eBay hardly in the last 2 or 3 months. I go on, and in the course of a couple hours, I find two of my most desired items I've wanted to collect and to also play. I don't generally collect things just to put them on a shelf or hang them in the corner. I like to use them. And you're probably like, open the box, open the box. Right, enough talking. So let's open the box. Okay. Suspense. Yeah, let's open it. I'm excited. I've actually cut it open to make it easy. Let's look in here. Okay. A bonus. We have kind of a nice little padded bag with a drawstring. Oh, that's always good when they throw stuff like that in. Okay. Nice bubble pack. It's always great when you order percussion instruments and they are packed nicely, as opposed to people just throwing them in a bag and shipping them. You would be surprised how people ship percussion. They think, nothing's going to happen to it. It's a gong, it's a cymbal, or whatever. It's a drum. All right, let's look here. Here we go. Here's the first one. Aha. If you can see that on there, it says Ictus 75 Ogororo UFIP. I managed to score what looked in the pictures, and now that I'm seeing these, mint condition. Were these ever used? A full set of 5 UFIP Ictus 75 Ogororo. These are great. I'm so excited. Again, this is the top of my list, was to get something like this. These are really sweet. When you're a collector, and as I said, also a player, there's nothing like getting things that you have searched for ages for. Look at that. These are gorgeous. Ictus 75. These are the originals. From what I understand, these were sort of sand cast, and you could see the surface on these. Maybe I'll come around the table. Give you a look at the surface a little more. You can see that. It's got a real grainy look. Look at the back of this one here. See that very rough looking. And it's very textured. You can feel it. So these from my understanding, were sand cast, apparently in the floor of the factory. I know, you want to hear them now. So let's find some mallets. Here we go. We have a medium yarn wound marimba mallet. And I will set these up in the next section of the video and we'll play them. But yeah, let's give it a test here. This is pure B20 bronze, Bell bronze. And as I said, the families that were involved in UFIP and still are involved in UFIP, experts in casting B20 bronze. That's why I seek out their instruments, because they are the best made and sounding. Listen to that tone. Beautiful tone. Here's the next one. Long-lasting sustain. I don't know if you can quite see this. Let's go around the table again. This is exciting for me. How thick that is. And how heavy these are. These little guys are heavy. That's the one problem when you start collecting and especially touring with bronze instruments like this. Your cases get very heavy. These are not light. I should probably weigh the whole set. Listen to that tone. Wow. I can't believe how these look mint. Even the original, they have all the original chords. You do not see a set like this. That's beautiful. And here's the smallest one. Beautiful stuff. Just the best. UFIP is the best at making these bronze instruments. Unfortunately, most of the ICTU 75 instruments have been discontinued. I can understand. I mean, it's the 70s and 80s were a heyday. Paiste and UFIP both made all kinds of exotic percussion sounds and instruments. And that was the heyday of progressive rock and progressive improvised jazz, especially in Europe. And a lot of the players use sounds like this. Okay. I'm going to show you and compare. Let me grab it here. I actually have a full set of more modern Ogororo. These I've had for probably 15 to 20 years, something like that. The modern logo on there, and if you can tell, the texture is very different. These are real shiny. There. Let's go around the table one more time. There, you can kind of see that. They're polished. They're shiny. These are cast, but you can see there's lines in there. They're finished somehow. There's a little pebbly texture. It's hard to see because they're so shiny. There's a little pebbly texture in there, but these look like, yeah, they're done in a different process. I even suspect they might do a large casting and cut these out of it. But these are Ogororo, 50 years old, at least near 50, and probably like 20 here. And you can tell this one's very shiny. This is just very raw. Now the castings, these are cast to shape. These aren't something bigger that they cut down. These are cast to shape, and all they really do is smooth off the edges. So that's what makes these so great because they are cast to shape. It's a one-piece item. Here we'll compare. Here's the modern UFIP one, the large one. And here is the original. I don't know if it'll come across on the recording. I hear more of a pure tone in the newer one, and I hear more overtones in the original. Let's try that again. So listen for the overtones here. Okay, let's do the more modern one. As you notice, you can get two distinct tones, center and edge. I hear a much purer fundamental note out of the newer one. One more time with the original. Yeah, you can hear that. I really hope it comes across in the recording. Normally they're hung up, and you'll see in the next segment I'll have both of my sets set up, and you play them that way. But the nice thing about these is you can also put them on like a cushion, a table or something. Let's get these down here so you can see them. I'll move them back a little. You can play them on a table like that. Let's try a little different mallet. Let's get something in a rubber mallet. So they are fairly versatile. You can do different things with them percussively. I like using them when I'm playing improvised percussion, either solo or with other musicians. They're great. So I'm really excited. I'm overjoyed I could find a mint condition set of these. This is just unbelievable. And in all my, I've been on eBay for probably 25 years. This is only the second complete set of Ictus 75 Ogororo I've ever seen. And the first one came up probably 20 years ago, and I just didn't have the cash. They wanted a lot, or I would have bought it. So if you collect and you wait, sometimes you find things. So I'm excited about this. Okay, here we have them all set up. Top row are the Ictus 75 Ogororo that I just got. The next row are the newer ones that I've had for 10 or 15 years. I'd have to look that up. And then in the bottom, I have two of my Sheng plates, which extend the tuning down. So let's compare them. I'll play the Ictus ones and then the modern ones. And the mallet I'm using is a medium wound yarn mallet, a marimba mallet. I like this. I think it gets a nice solid sound, but not too aggressive. I might use a medium soft or a soft if I was looking for just a gentler sound with less attack to it. nice melodic scale, and you can hear they ring out. Let's play them a little harder. A really nice melodic scale. I'll play them a little harder so they ring out a little more. Now let's try the more modern set. Different tuning. Like a whole different sort of scale. Now surprisingly, the two end ones are almost in tune with each other, the high ones. Just a little flat of this one. Now this one's higher. This one's higher. Almost in tune. You can hear the beats there. Actually, a nice interval between them. Let's add the sheng in there. Sounds nice. So these really extend the range. Now let's do it with the modern ones. I really like these with the ictus ones. So we're looking at these being from the 70s. These are probably about 50 years old. This set, I believe, is from the 80s. So we're looking at, let's say, 40 years old. And this set, probably 20 years old. Or I could add this one as a transition note. A lot of possibilities with these. Let's try some different mallets. Like I said, medium yarn wound marimba mallet. Let's move to a medium rubber mallet. Might give it a little more edge. Attack in there, a little brightness. A little more roundness with the yarn wound. Here's another rubber one. It's a little different. I think it's a little softer rubber. Yeah, you can hear there's more attack, more edge on the sound. And then more softness, roundness with these. Let's try a hard cord wound vibraphone mallet. Real aggressive sound, real bright, lots of attack, very cutting. Let's try some drumsticks, because the funny thing, whenever I see these demoed online, people are always playing them with a drumstick, which is not the preferred striking implement, really. But here's just a 5A Vic Firth drumstick. And the thing with a drumstick like this, I don't know if it's going to come across on the audio, is you can actually hear the sound of the stick in there. I suppose if I hold it real tight, if I hold it loose, you can actually hear the sound of the wood. Here's a felt-tipped mallet. Much like the rubber ones. And then here's the good old Vic Firth, what is this, a T1, I think it is? T1, General Timpani Mallet, which you see a lot of people demonstrating percussion like this or gongs with a timpani mallet. Great for special effects, but probably not what I would select. The one thing about this is I really like the handle. It's a tapered handle. If you can see it, it tapers. Really nice feeling handle. I wish they would make like a wind gong mallet or some sort of soft wrapped mallet with this wooden handle. This is a great handle. So if you have timpani mallets like this and they wear off and the felt gets all wrecked, don't throw the mallet away. Rewrap it with some yarn or put some fabric or something around it, because it's really a nice mallet that feels comfortable in my hands. A lot of different sound potential in these. Commonly we would call these bell plates because they are fairly thick and they create a bell-like tone. You could call them bell discs or sound discs, whatever, but commonly bell plates. So there we go. I feel really lucky to have found these, and what I like is that the sets are not identical. They have different tunings, so I'm able to use them in, use them both, and they both go well with the Sheng plates down here. So one more time, let's go through them. Now, one thing I do notice is I think the modern Ogororo have a little more of a pure sound. Where the Ictus ones, I don't know, there just seems to be a little more dissonance in the sound. That could just be me, could be my ears, but yeah, they're great. I'm just really glad I found them. Add them to my collection, and I will be using this new set in my sessions. So watch for them next time you see me.